All right, I think everybody's pretty much got their food and on their way. Might be finishing up a little bit, finishing your dessert, but I think we'll go ahead and try and get started and keep a little pace with tonight. So, for those of you that don't know, my name is John Olson. I'm the athletic director here at McCook, and just kind of want to start off. As when this started, we just really wanted a night to recognize coaches and athletes and the hard work that they put in. So, every year I kind of, think back on the year and think kind of what we're doing here. So I've been involved in college athletics for 23 years as a player, coach, assistant coach, head coach, assistant athletic director, 20 years at the junior college level. So, it's kind of my life. It's kind of who I am. I love the level. I love, a lot of people always like, oh man, it's got to be hard because it changes every year and there's a lot of rollover and things like that. But it's part of it that, really kind of drives me. And I've seen it from all different perspectives. And I just want to say to the coaches and student athletes, I'm really proud of everything that you do to accomplish what you want to accomplish, not just on the court, but in the classroom as well. Every year not every year, but every year, but a lot of different times, there's always things that make me realize really what we do it, why we do it. And, I think last year I told a story about a former player that was given back in Tulsa as a teacher and running an after school soccer club. And so I was just kind of going through my year this year and kind of thinking about different things, and it's always pretty ironic when things are kind of tough. It always seems like get an email or a phone call, from a former player or somebody that I've been involved with over my career, and it just always kind of picks you up a little bit. But I remember just a quick story from this year. I drove the men's basketball team to Colorado Springs. They played Air Force Prep over, early in January, I think, and game was at 7 o'clock at night, I think, and Coach Leonard calls me up, and he goes, "Yeah, John, we're going to leave at 6 in the morning." And I started scratching my head, and I'm like, "Man, Brandon, I think Colorado Springs is only like 4 hours. I think we'll be able to get there by 7 if we leave at 6 a.m." But so he kind of gave me the itinerary, and this is the epitome of what it's. This is just the epitome of what it's all about. So we went to a church there. And former player George Pollard, I think he was True Holidays, wasn't he, Brandon? True Holidays, so obviously past 7 years ago, George Pollard, we came in, I parked the bus, they're going to have a shoot around and all that stuff, and George, shakes my hand, gives me a hug, asks me how things are going, and then I spent the rest of the morning just watching him interact with Coach Linhart and Coach Pritchett and Lance and Logan, and to me, that was just a story of why we do what we do, and it was a good time. And then, George is now giving back too. I think George is trying to help, our basketball family here, sending recruits here and things like that, working hard, and paying it back forward. And George had a great experience, and he's got a great relationship with Coach Leonard and Coach Pritchett, and like it's stories like that that makes me know exactly what we're doing here as coaches. So, coaches, I encourage you to keep remembering what you're doing, and you got to take the great days with the bad days. There's going to be great wins or great accomplishments in the classroom, but there's also going to be the days where the games don't go so well, or you might have to deal with something off the field. But always strive to put student athletes first, because that's what we need to be here for. Athletes encourage you to continue to work. Don't drown. If you remember one thing, don't drown in the negativity of sports. The worst thing that happens in athletics is the negativity of sports, whether it's on TV or wherever it is. Always remember that athletics is an awesome thing. There's no better way to help prepare people for trials and tribulations that they're going to have, because it's not always easy. It's a true show of things that are hard, and I do truly believe that. So again, tonight is about just saying thank you for all the hard work that you guys have done this year as coaching staff. Thank you for all the hard work, the student athletes that you've done, and just kind of go from there. But like I said, student athletes, we encourage you to move on, have a positive impact on society, and coaches, really am proud of what you do. So congratulate you on that as well too. So I do want to take just a little bit of time. We talk about student athletes, and it's very important that we end on the student side of things as well too. And one of the things that I've been very proud of in the past, multiple years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, is the emphasis that we've been able to place on academics. Student Success Center this year, in the past couple of years, has been a huge impact on that. And we've really done a nice job. If you just take the fall, if you look at the fall, we had 34 student athletes on the dean's list or president's list. That was 12 on the president's list and 22 on the dean's list. President's list being 3.9 or higher. Dean's list 3.5 or better. So that's approximately, about a third of our student athletes, and feel good about that. Last year we had 23 academic All-Americans in our sports programs, and 31 academic All-Regions. Academic All-Americans had to have, 30 hours with a 3.5 or better. Academic All-Region was 24 with a 3.25 or better. So feel really good about those numbers as well. So I do have a team announcement and then an individual announcement, and then we'll get started with the individual sports. But want to recognize some academic individuals and teams. So first off, I'd like to do this year's academic team of the year, computed from the fall semester, and that goes to Kellen Fernetti in women's basketball. Next, and when you have a lot of good student athletes, it makes it hard. But we had a lot of different student athletes that were up for some of these different awards. But we did have our female academic athlete of the year, and that goes to Brooke Jamison. Excuse me. And finally, male academic athlete of the year. Just a great story, great kid, Chinedu Okonkwo. If you can get up here on those crutches. So now we'll move on with the individual portion of the night. So first, I'd like to introduce Coach Kobza, Haley Kobza, head women's volleyball coach and proud mother of about 1 month today. So.
Well, I guess all the athletes can be happy that we're done with all the grade reports. Yeah, there we go. I first want to start off by saying a few thank yous. First and foremost, thank you to our Booster Club for all of your generous support. Thank you to everyone here at the college for everything you could do. I could stand up here probably for 5 minutes and list off everything you do to make my job easy, but I think we have a time limit. Huge thank you to our faculty for working with the girls and all the other teams during the seasons, especially with our grade reports. Thank you to Coach Fernetti for jumping in and coaching a few practices for me. Thank you to my assistant coaches, Andy Jernigan and Emily Dinas, and also my student assistants, J.C. Allmeyer, Jordan Taylor, and Bryce Artisono. And last, thank you to my Lady Indians for working hard and putting forth the effort the whole season. And let's not forget Doug Terry, Gary White, Rod Thompson, and Mackey. We literally couldn't have made it anywhere without you guys. So I knew this season was going to be different from our last season after our tournament at Barton Community College. For those of you that have traveled there or have not traveled there, it's a hop, skip, and about a 4-hour jump away from here. And we had a 9 a.m. match, and I'm all about saving money, so we're going to leave that morning. With that being said, warm-up starts at 8. I coach a ladies' sport, so we need to be there about 45 minutes before 8. So some really easy math there. We left here at 3:30 a.m. We arrive. The Barton coach comes and says, "Good morning." I set the camera up. I take my place on the bench. The girls get dressed, do their hair. They're about ready to hit the court, and the Barton coach comes and says, "Did you not get the revised schedule? You don't play till 4." I'm quite sure that's the angriest I've probably been all season. I was 2 months pregnant at the time. The girls didn't know that, and mornings were not my strong suit. We couldn't check into the hotel till 2, so we had a lot of time to kill. So we had a memorable morning walking around the great streets of Great Bend, Kansas, checking out a nice coffee shop, a pet store, and not to mention a zoo, and you can ask the girls about that adventure. When 5 o'clock came around, not 4, mind you, because they said it was 4, everything was running behind schedule. The girls were exhausted since sleeping in the stands really isn't a good option. We played Southeast our first match, and it took us 2 sets to warm up, but we ended up winning that match 3-2. But the real game changer that made me realize that I had a different team was our last match against Barton. It ended up not starting until 8:30 p.m., and it was on their home court. And it being that late in Great Bend, Kansas, I'm quite sure everybody attended. We lost our first set 18-25, and then our second set 15-25. After that second set, I was really hoping the girls would just pull through and really learn how to compete, because this was early on in our season, which they did. They competed the next 3 sets. We ended up losing 2-3. But after the first 2 sets, they very easily could have given up, but they didn't. We ended up finishing that match around 11 p.m. It was the longest match I've ever played. Coached. I didn't play, but it felt like I coached or played. And I knew this group of girls was going to work hard at every match. They played 10 sets of volleyball and had been up for nearly 16 hours with a very angry coach. That shows some determination. The next day, we went undefeated and went 3-1 for that tournament. Now on to the awards, because that's why we're all here. Girls, when I say your name, could you come up here and just stay until we're all done? Got that? Good? Okay. First, we have our captain awards. These 3 ladies I'm going to tell you about, they were voted on by their team to lead their team. First and foremost is Jessica Mahan. Jess is a sophomore who will be continuing her volleyball career at University of Arkansas, Monticello. She played a huge role for us the last 2 years as our starting libero and even setting and hitting last year. Not her favorite thing to do. Jess ended up 6th in the nation for serve aces and 11th in the nation for digs for the whole season. She also received an All-Region Award, honorable mention with the Omaha World Herald. Next, we have Dylan Byland. Dylan is a sophomore and is planning on attending University of Colorado in Colorado Springs and pursuing a physical therapy degree. Dylan was a standout leader for us the last 2 years, not only on the volleyball court, but in the classroom as well. She received an All-Regional Award and honorable mention with the Omaha World Herald. And our last captain was Ty Johnson. Ty is a freshman for us this year, and due to an injury early on in this season, that ended it quite a bit shorter than she wanted it to be. But she was back on the court and played a huge role for us in a position she really didn't want to play. And I think all the girls can attest to this, but she always is the one to put a smile on our face no matter what the situation. Next, we have our 2017 Rookie of the Year, and Dylan had won this last year, and that is Ryan Madera. Ryan played every position on the net and worked her tail off no matter where she was put. She ended the season as our second top hitter with 363 total kills and left her 25th in the nation. She was voted as an all-tournament team at our all-regional tournament and received honorable mention with the Omaha World Herald. Ryan has huge goals for next year, and she's been working her tail off this season to make sure she reaches those goals. So let's give these guys a round of applause. Now for the rest of our ladies on the team. We have Sydney Kaiser. Sydney is a sophomore and will be attending UNLV, pursuing a degree in special education. Tristan Trampy. Tristan was a strong right side for us the last 2 years, and she's planning on working as a dietitian at Mother Hull. Megan Orth. Megan is a standout player, and I got to change up my speech because she just told me she's going to go to University of Arkansas, Monticello with Jess Mahan. So she ended her season with a record here at McCook with 408 kills for the season, and that also put her 14th in the nation for kills. She received all-region, all-tournament awards, and was on the first team for the Omaha World Herald D1 JUCO team. And for the rest of our freshmen, they've been working their off-season workouts really good, and I'm so excited. Emily Dynas, she stepped in to do this, and she's telling me they're working out hard. So, and the girls were mentioning Ashley Carson's buff arms today, so they must be doing something while I'm gone. This is a group that you're for sure going to want to make sure you guys come out and watch next year. We have Anyesa Rocha from Kansas, a defensive specialist. Brooklyn Evans from Utah, a defensive specialist as well. Haley Jacobson, a right side hitter. Hannah Emerson, a middle blocker from Colorado. And Caitlin Kinder, defensive specialist, also from Colorado. And I didn't forget one, but for our last freshman, we have our Chief of the Year award. This is a player that was voted on by her teammates for showing tremendous work ethic at every workout, practice, and match, and worked to be the best teammate she could be every single day. And no doubt in my mind that I wasn't surprised when the girls voted for Ashley Carson. Ashley also received honorable mention with the Omaha World Herald this season. And to conclude, all the talented ladies up here, we'd like to thank all of you for your generous support this season, and we hope that you continue to watch the MCC Lady Indian Volleyball team grow. So thank you guys again, and let's welcome Coach Fernetti up here. Good work, ladies.
All right, would all players with MCC Lady Indian Basketball go ahead and step forward? First, I want to start off with some thank yous. Coach Kobza already touched on our booster club and all the things that they do. We're appreciative of that. I want to thank our administration for your support and all that you provide us throughout the season. I also want to thank our coaches here at MCC. I love and enjoy working with each and every one of you. We have an outstanding team of coaches, and we are truly one team here because of you all. So thank you for all that you do for your teams. I want to thank the bus drivers for another outstanding year of transportation for MCC Lady Indian Basketball. It's not an easy gig, a lot of early mornings, late nights. We appreciate you and your efforts. And also sometimes being my assistant coach, whether they liked it or not. They filled that role nicely. Our game day management, I want to thank them as well. Our score table, Sean Knowles announcing, ticket takers, and concession stand workers. Thanks for being able to make game day possible. I want to go adopt a student program and fans. Thank you for all that you do. Our fans and the Adopt a Student program is second to none. Outstanding people that bleed MCC blue. Got to thank our practice squad. We had a practice squad, golf team members, students that came in and competed at a high level, flew around like crazy, so definitely made us better. Thank you for that. Grace Jorgensen. I want to thank Grace for coming on board as our assistant coach at semester. Grace did a lot of work behind the scenes and was a huge help for us. I also want to thank the big three, which is Jamie, Aiden, and Axel over there. Thank you for showing me that there is a world out there outside of this gym. It took me quite a while to figure that out, about 35 years. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate the joy and support each of you have brought to me. So with that, I want to thank each player up here for the effort all season. It was a tough one. You know, there's no doubt it was tough. But the best teacher in life is experience. A season like we had can make each one of us better moving forward with the right attitude. And I'm a true believer that sometimes you have to go through something in order to gain something. I wish all the best to our 4 sophomores who gave their all to the program no matter what the situation was. Colby Cox, who's going to UNK. Gabby Enlow is UCCS. Is that correct? Okay. Monisha Green, who is going to be on the track team at McPherson College. And Grace Wellman, who's going to Wiley College for basketball. I also want to wish the best to Brooke Jamison, who will be competing at Chadron State next season. Adversity is preparation for success, and our 5 returners have put in outstanding work this spring. We started on March 11th, which was 9 days after our final game, to start getting ready for next season. And after 27 workouts, a chemistry and bond has been formed with this group. I look forward to working with all conference performers Sam Hinkle, Michaela Jones, Haley Tiles, Lauda Mata. It took me about, 2 months to figure that out? But it's Lauda, it's not Laura, it's Lauda Mata, okay? And then Anna San Juan next season, along with the incoming recruiting class. We know we have to get better. I know I have to get better, and we will continue to try our best to be better today than yesterday and better tomorrow than today. Thank you. And now, Coach Barnes in softball. I forgot to hand these to you guys. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
I get up here and you guys are already laughing at me and you say, ew. We plan this. This is what coaches do. You know, you spend a lot of time together. You're just like, hey, what are you going to wear today? So, well, first of all, I'd like to say good evening. I'd like to thank everybody coming to this event. It's a special event to recognize a lot of great people, not just the athletes, but everybody that puts in the work behind the scenes. I have a lot of people to thank, just like all the other coaches, so we're going to get there. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Lainey. She's been yeah, we can give her a round of applause there. We like that. She didn't want to come up here and stand because she's about, 3 months pregnant, 3.5? 4 months. Oh, man. 4 months. Numbers are hard. So October, you might not get to see me as much as you like there. So, but, yeah, she's been my voluntold assistant coach. Been outstanding for us and you know, the mom on the team to the girls, and to give somebody that they can vent to when I'm getting on them too much. So without her, none of this would be possible, so thank you for that. Our administration, thank you for making everything that we do possible through just your support. It's outstanding. You know, a tough game, you guys come in there and say, hey, hang in there. Or, you know, when we have the good games, like when we played North Platte the other day, you know, make Dr. Long proud there, make him happy about that. So without you guys, I mean, it wouldn't be possible, so thank you. To our boosters, you guys volunteer your time for countless hours to help us out, fundraise, meet early morning at 7:30, even when some of the coaches don't make it up there. So that's great support. We're lucky to have you guys. Mama Roop, thank you for organizing all of our meals. For the adoptive athlete, kind of running that, being in charge, you know, along with Sherry Stang. You guys do a great job and make my life easier. I know there's countless texts where you're trying to get me involved by saying, hey, what do you want? I just say, you pick it, and you do a great job and never fail to please us. So Our adoptive parents, you guys are great. We use you so much on recruiting trips. It's a big deal. We pull student athletes from a lot of different places, and so giving them the place to go is outstanding. The other athletic coaches, man, I work with a great group of individuals there with Coach Landhart, Coach Kobza, Coach Olson, Coach Loop, where he's hiding over there, region champs. Woo. You guys are outstanding. Coach Pritchett, I get to work with you in another aspect too, but you guys are awesome. It's great to go vent, to talk us off the ledge numerous times, for sure. So the other people I'd like to thank, Mindy Hope, Heather Puckett, Kelly Rippon, and the rest of the admissions and recruiting team. Those guys pick up a lot of slack when I'm gone for that part of my job, so you guys definitely support me a lot, and it helps out. Not last, but I'd like to thank Coach Katie Ackerman and her family, Brad, and her kids, Braylon and Carter. She's an awesome coach. She's the epitome of a great coach. She puts so much time and effort, and it's not a lucrative contract she signed to be a part of it. And so her effort, her heart, and just how she helps out the girls is outstanding, and we wouldn't be where we would be without you. So thank you. Last but not least, the 19 wonderful young ladies that we have here. You girls, you made coming to work fun. I enjoyed every single day. Well, mostly every single day. Bits and pieces of every single day. I smiled a lot, but sometimes, some tears too on my part. Every day was a new adventure, and I cherish the months that we got to spend together. We spend more time than you did with your own family. So it was outstanding. It was fun. Even if it was on a cramped bus for hours, what seemed like an eternity, with you guys singing and doing all your other stuff on there. So thank you for those memories. So first, we're going to get started with our freshmen. Freshmen, I'm going to have you come up here and stand. For that, we'll go that. Abby Klinsky, Chanel Siebenthal, Emily Charchuk, Kayla Harrison, Taylor Ford, Sierra Price, Jerusha Miner, Riley Younger, Isabel Cerna, Rebecca Carpenter, and Mackenzie Bond. Too fast, sorry. Good. These are our freshmen. For those of you who've played college sports or have been through it, your freshman year is the hardest. Those first 2 months, no matter how close you are to home or how far away, you feel like going back home because it's so different. These guys took it in stride, made it all year, and competed every day. And so I'd like to thank you guys for that. We had a great year. But more work is required. And so it's important to hang a banner up there in those rafters. That's our end goal. And so I look forward to reaching our goals next year. You guys may sit down. Thank you. And finally, I'd like to recognize the sophomores for the 2017-2018 season. Taya Thorpe, Brooke Magana, Cheyenne Herzog, Alexis Magana, Kathy McDiarmid, Kaylee Wingred, Alexis Moyaki, Emma Sands. We're going to do it right now. Mo, come up here, please. I'd like to recognize our first team all-region performer for Region 9 for the second year in a row, Alexis Moyaki. This is the second year in a row she's been a unanimous selection by the coaches, which hasn't happened in a few years, I believe. And so she's a pretty special player, and it has been for us for 2 years. So thank you for that. Here are some of the accomplishments by this team in the past 2 years. For top 5 team records overall, they made the top 5 at McCook for these records. For total wins in every offensive category and every pitching and defensive category, they made the top 5 at our school. For the top team records, meaning they're holding the top-ranked spot, they set batting average this year with a team batting average of .366, which is good for currently 11th in the nation. And then with doubles with 124, which is currently 8th in the nation. For top individual records, we have the career record holder in innings pitched, both season and career. For strikeouts with 323. For complete games. For pitching victories and games started. And then for top individual records, we have the career leader in batting average, hits, RBIs, walks, individual season leader in doubles, RBIs, runs scored, stolen bases, and numerous top 5 in other categories. These young ladies laid the foundation for McCook Community College softball. They did the dirty work in establishing consistency for our program through their hard work and sacrifice. One of our goals as a team was to leave anything that we were a part of better than when we got here. They definitely did that. They'll forever be remembered by adding their mark on a conference banner by being the Nebraska Community College Athletic Conference 2018 champions. To go right up there. So thank you for these ladies, and I wish you luck in your future endeavors. Roll Tribe. Coach Lenhart, you're next.
Hello. I don't know what's more nerve-wracking, speaking in front of all these people or dressing a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old to come to the banquet tonight. That was pretty tough. That was pretty tough business, so that was hard. A few thank yous like everybody else. Try to keep it as short as possible. I'm going to try to read off this speech that I prepared so we can speed it up a little bit. I'm known to go a little bit longer than expected. I'll do my best. Obviously, first and foremost, I want to thank my wife, who has walked out the door and probably walked home because our kids are a little bit nutty. So she's a rock. She's been single mom a lot of days because I'm here, there, and everywhere. So just thank her and the boys from the bottom of my heart. They're my heart and soul. So administration, thank you. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support that you give our athletic teams from the time that I've been here. Next year will be my 12th year here as the head men's basketball coach, and something has improved, whether it be on campus or athletics, every single year, and that is a true testament to our administration, all the things that you do for not only our student athletes, but our students and our community as a whole. I can't thank you guys enough. I appreciate everything that you guys do for our community college and the community of McCook. John Olson, we truly have the best athletic director. I'm not saying that just because he's our athletic director, but I have the liberty to be an assistant athletic director here for the past 4 years or so. And all the time and effort that goes unnoticed by John Olson, I've been able to see firsthand what he does for our athletic teams and all that he does on top of being a physical education instructor and being the head baseball coach and all those things. It's a very, very tough job, but we truly have the best athletic director in America. He lets us do our job, but he also steps in if we need his assistance or he needs to give us assistance. So he's really good, does a really good job for us, and appreciate you. Adopt to Athlete program. I know a lot of thank yous have been kind of going, kind of overlapping, but our Adopt to Athlete program, Coach Pritchett and I went to New York and New Jersey, and we recruit all over the country. We just had a commitment from a kid from New Zealand, and our biggest asset for us is our Adopt to Athlete program. And our community here and the community college as a whole, how people are going to be safe coming here and things like that. So our community here in McCook is second to none. We have the best, truly the best people, and they give the best environment and the best chance for our student athletes to succeed, not only in the classroom and in the community college, but the people in our community are just unbelievable. and part of the reason why my wife and I are still here to this day. So appreciate that. Jasmine Kyrie Forte, redshirt sophomore from Concord, North Carolina. Ron Rice, redshirt freshman from Harlem, New York. Andy White, redshirt freshman from Wareham, Massachusetts. Peanut Cunningham, freshman from Louisville, Kentucky. Tony Kumanovic, sophomore from Croatia. Keith Andrew Epps, the second, sophomore from Lafayette, Louisiana. Kafani Williams, redshirt sophomore from Pembroke, New Hampshire. Chevelle Bailey, sophomore from Titusville, Florida. Isaiah Richardson, freshman from Australia. Anthony Petrovic, freshman from Serbia. A.V. Banks, redshirt from Portageville, Missouri. Amadou J., freshman from Africa. Alisson Sek, redshirt sophomore from Africa. Joel Beal, redshirt sophomore from Grand Island, Nebraska. Chinedu Miles Okonkwo, from sophomore from Africa. You could give these guys a round of applause. Oh, wow. Nice crutches. Wow. Your 2017-2018 McCook Community College Indians. We have several sophomores moving on. We have 9 sophomores moving on, and we have a freshman in Isaiah Richardson. Isaiah Richardson has committed to Bloomfield College in New Jersey. Oh, wow, Isaiah's birthday. Isaiah Richardson's birthday today. Happy birthday, Isaiah. And then Chinedu Okonkwo has committed to West Florida as well. So we have several guys that are getting high-level interest from all different types of levels, from Division I, Division II, NAI. So it's still early. So they'll all our guys will move on. Very talented group of young men here. So. All conference guy, we're going to talk about some awards here. All conference for us, and all region awards. And the reason why I brought my entire team up here, because I truly believe, and nothing against anybody else, but I truly believe in that all the individual awards are team awards. And they wouldn't be where they are standing. None of us would be here standing if it wasn't for our entire basketball family as a whole. So the awards that the individuals will get are also our team awards, and you guys should take immense pride in those things. So, and some of the statistics I'll say are in the last 20 years. Coach Pritchett and student work study has put together some statistics from the past 20 years. We're still working on the rest, but we've got 20 years that we can work towards. But Peanut Cunningham, he's not here. He actually had an exposure event in Indianapolis, and he had some flight issues, so he could not make it back tonight for our banquet. But Peanut Cunningham was first team MCC AC, and Peanut, as a freshman, sixth all time in MCC history in a single season with steals at 57 steals. This next guy has been a 2-year starter, 2-year guy for us here from Statesboro, Georgia. Devon Morey is first team all-conference for the second time in a row. Devon is fifth all-time in points scored here at McCook, 942. He's sixth all-time in assists, 163. Second all-time in three-pointers made, career 188. That's pretty impressive. So he really shot the three ball for us for the last 2 years. So. 118 last year. How many? 106 three-pointers made in one season last year. So, my stat guy back here. Chinedu Okonkwo, first team all-conference. Chinedu's 20th in career points, 550. Second career rebounds all time, 417. Fourth in a single season rebounds with 252, and that was this year. So, if we could congratulate those 3 all-conference players. And Chinedu and Devon were also named to the Omaha World Herald All-Nebraska Junior College team as well. So if you guys could step forward. Yeah, those are our all-conference guys as well. So to be all-region in any of our sports here, in our region, Region 9. It's a high honor and a very difficult task to do. And Chinedu Okonkwo was fortunate to be named to the third team All-Region. Congratulations there, Chinedu. And we don't really know our academic awards, but it's kind of safe to say after some grade checks and things of that nature that Chinedu Okonkwo will also be a second recipient of Academic All-American, we're thanking. And then Anthony Petrovic and Tony Kamanovich also will probably look to receive Academic All-American awards too. So Tony Kamanovich has, and Tony, if you could step forward. He's a transfer from West Alabama, and he has achieved so far, and it looks good now, but he's achieved a 4.0 GPA at the college level since he's been. So, congratulations for that. There. Study after study has shown that probably the most important characteristic you could teach a child and that a person needs in their own life is resilience. It's the ability to bounce back. It's the ability to keep going. Nobody goes through life with an unbroken chain of successes. Everybody has failures and mistakes. We all embarrass ourselves. We all have pain. We all have problems. We all have pressures. The people make it in life are the ones that have resilience. This was sent to me by my junior college coach who I played for, who's a Division I assistant in Louisiana. He sent this to me after he came up to watch us play at Northeastern Junior College, and we were going through some struggles. And he sent this to me, and this kind of fit our entire season as a whole, and it's something that I wanted to read to everybody here and to read to our team. As far as the things that we've gone through, all of us have had personal life battles. We've had season-ending injuries. A lot of these guys that came back, they're redshirt sophomores, but they basically came back as freshmen because they had to, sit out an entire season. So they came again and had to revamp. They had the experience and the mental makeup, but basically became freshmen all over again. They had the resilience to keep going and keep pushing forward every single day. We were down 20 versus Northeastern Junior College right here in this facility right here, and at halftime we made some adjustments, and these guys went all in, and we came back from a 20-point deficit and beat NJC here at home. We got beat on the road versus Central Community College, and we turned around and decided to be great that next day, and we could have easily laid down, and we came back and beat Southeast Community College by 30 the next day. These are just a few of many more acts of resilience this team has faced, or resilience that they've overcome obstacles. Our team was super resilient. We had our chances and put ourselves in position to be at the top on numerous occasions throughout the year. We've had disappointments and goals and dreams not met as a team and as individuals, but we must not let those things define us. We don't have anything to hang our head about. But what we can do is use the little things to make us better and to continue to be motivated to be at our best moving forward. We went 18-13. That's not too bad. That's a pretty good season. In athletics, so many goals and expectations aren't ever met. Even the one team that wins it all at the end of the year at every respective sport, even they they don't always reach the pinnacle in every single goal and those types of things. With these failures, quote unquote, will this bring you guys down? Will these failures motivate you to be better year in and year out, day in and day out, not just basketball, but in the game of life? That's the question I would ask you guys here standing up today. Make it in life. Making it into life is number one goal I have for my players each and every year. Basketball is and has been an avenue that I have utilized to help me grow as a person, husband, professional, friend, son, brother, and now a father of 2 boys. My hope. I was trying to not shake it here, sorry. Happens every year. My hope and my challenge to you guys is that you all will continue to grow as human beings each and every day, become the very best version of you every single day. Really look to truly become the best version of you every single day. That would be my challenge for you guys. When obstacles get in your way, as they have for all of us in life, push forward and fight like crazy to be at your best every single day. You guys have a lot to be proud of. just making it through a college basketball season, the expectations we have for you as a student athlete, the community service we expect of you, and all that goes into this student athlete. It truly is a huge accomplishment, and it's not easy at all, because if it were, everyone would be doing it. Be proud to be an MCC Indian forever. 2017-18 MCC Indians. Thanks.
Alrighty. Come back here and just want to touch base on baseball real quick, and kind of the same. I'll save a few thank yous for at the end before Andy talks a little bit. But I do want to talk about some things baseball-wise to get going. And like everybody else, I know a lot of these thank yous carry over. But first and foremost, I need to thank my wife Nicole and son Avery. A little over a year. About 13 months. So in the past 2 weeks, I spent 5 days in Montana, came back, waited a day, went to Norfolk, Nebraska, came back, played at home, then went to Scotts Bluff. So haven't really been around a whole lot. And off to Lamar again this weekend. So just want to say thank you for everything that you do for us. It does not go unnoticed. So I want to talk just a little bit, like I said, about baseball. One of the things that's always a little bit odd for us is our season's never over by the time the athletic banquet comes around. So we haven't even had our all-region meeting for all-region players, awards, things like that. So we still have 5 games left. 2 games here at home on Wednesday, a doubleheader against NJC, and then we go to Lamar, Colorado again for 3 games this weekend against Lamar. That will end the year for us this weekend at Lamar. We'll come up short of making our 3rd straight region appearance, which was disappointing. But as some other coaches have talked about, hopefully we can use that moving forward and be back there next year to make sure that we give everybody that opportunity, because it's a great opportunity that I know our sophomores really proud of, that they can leave here with. And then moving on. So have had a lot of success. We've got 13 sophomores who over the course of the spring or maybe 1 or 2 over the summer that will end up graduating from McCook Community College. 6 to 8 guys that will be up for academic all-region or all-American. Haven't had to worry about our guys. Not to say by any means that we're perfect, but have not had any issues with them. Whenever we go on the road, I'm always complimented in restaurants and hotels about how well they carry themselves in public, and that is a testament to them and how they act. Community service projects, they're probably sick of community service projects because we've done them all. We've helped with youth basketball tournaments. We've picked up highway trash. We've loaded and unloaded Goodwill trucks. We laid massive amounts of sod for people, helped move people, you name it, we've done it. And I'm extremely proud of them for always stepping up and doing it. So a lot of great things. Also want a couple other thank yous. My assistant, Brady Hines, up here with me. And then his brother, Colin, back in the back running Livestream as our manager. Both do a great job. I don't have to worry about statistics or food on the road or accommodations, things like that. And that's awesome. So I do want to introduce our team real quick. We do have a big group, 34 guys. So I do want to introduce them all. I'm going to introduce freshmen, first-year guys first. And then I'll introduce the sophomores, so kind of 2 different groups, and then kind of go from there. So when I say your name, if you guys will come up, and I'll if we'd hold the applause till the end of both groups, that'll be good. I guess I need a list. So for freshmen, Jesse Bloom, Micah Dorsey, Just other side. Should have made somebody besides Jesse first. Bo Hawley. Sean Hickey. Parker Kretzel. John Mumford. Keyshawn Royal. Jacob Lombardelli. Van Stevenson. Ryan Marsteller. Ryan's actually a sophomore. He transferred from Grand Canyon University, but it's his first year here. Connor McGonigal. Braden Pife. Braden is also a sophomore. He's a transfer as well. Casey Quagliano. Casey's a freshman here for us this year. Tanner Sissel. Craig McCullough. Spencer Ray. Jacob Reed. Matthew Tremblay. And Julio Separich. So those were our first-year guys, combination of a couple sophomores and freshmen here at McCook Community College. If we could give those guys a quick round of applause. One of the things I always talk about is, how special it is for guys to have some stick-to-itiveness and to stick with something. And so I place special importance on guys that have been here for 2 years, and they came in and worked their tail off. Like I said, had a extremely good year, freshman, and some disappointments this year that hopefully, like Coach Leonard, Coach Barnes, Coach Renee, some other guys talked about resilience and perseverance and using some tough experiences to gain life experiences and be better. So I do have great respect for the group of guys that have been here 2 years and put in a lot of time. So I'll introduce them all, got a little bit about each one of them, and then we can give some round of applause as well. So Angel Mojica. Angel's a sophomore from Denver, and he is actually will be returning next year. He was broke his hand 7 games into our year, starting shortstop, and broke his hand, which was a big blow. But he's kept a great attitude about the whole thing, and I'm really looking forward to having him back here. So next, Christopher Bellemere. Chris from Quebec, French Canadian. So if you hear somebody talking French around campus, it's usually Chris and Matthew. And left-handed hitter, played a lot of left field and DH for us. And a great kid, great student, and Roy does a good job. Next, Dalton Bartling. Dalton is kind of the father figure on our team. Was here a few years ago, and he was. It's a testament though, because like Coach Barnes was talking about, he was one of those guys that it was really hard when you're first away, and I get it. It's hard when you're first away. And Dalton was away for a couple years, and last year came back and made the commitment to be here. And just a really great worker. Has been our starting right fielder all year, and really proud of Dalton. Next, Dylan White. Dylan from Las Vegas. Dylan's another tough case. Dylan was our starting catcher last year, and Dylan was actually, like Coach Linhart said, it is extremely hard in our region to be an all-region performer, and Dylan had an excellent freshman year. He was a second-team all-region catcher last year and had a season-ending injury early in this year, a couple weeks into the year. I think he's got surgery this week, tomorrow, Wednesday, so surgery Wednesday to take care of that. So a tough blow, to lose players of Angel and Dylan's caliber, but hopefully we wish Dylan the best moving forward as well. So obviously had a great freshman year and wish him all the best. Tyler Cox. Tyler from Canada. We always talk about one of the things we talk about is working while you wait, and Tyler is a great example. He really busted his tail all last year and probably didn't get as many opportunities as he would have liked. But this year he has been probably our main guy on the mound. He started off kind of as our closer, and we started him the last 2 weekends. He has done a great job. Beat Western Nebraska yesterday, the first game of our doubleheader, threw a complete game, great game, showed a lot of grit, and really happy for Tyler. He's a prime example of if things aren't going for you as well as you want to at first, just don't quit complaining and get to work. So next, Johnny Ginta. Johnny's from Canada as well, Toronto, and Johnny has been played first base for us the last couple of years, and really had a strong last 3 weeks. He's done a really nice job swinging the bat, so happy for Johnny as well too. CJ Williams. CJ came down with both Tyler and Tanner Ziegel, and CJ's a pitcher for us, and done a nice job out of the bullpen for us last couple years. Now, next guy, Michael Sukdeel. Michael's DH for us, hitting the middle of our order, both as a freshman year. I think he is a freshman. Last year he hit 4 or 5 for us. Had a nice year, had some good power numbers. This year his average is really up. Michael will continue. He's getting a lot of interest. Will continue his baseball career. I'm sure he'll find somewhere to settle on here shortly as we wind down and other schools wind down as well too. So next guy, David Perez. David, sophomore from Las Vegas, and one thing I really respect about David, he's a fun-loving guy. And I enjoy being around him. He always knows how to try and put a smile on somebody's face, and I've been happy to have David around. Jason Hill. Jason's a sophomore from British Columbia. Was our starting shortstop last year. Bounced around, played shortstop, second base, a little bit of outfield this year. Really nice year as a freshman, and again hitting again this year. So Jason Hill. Next, Caden Sitzman. Caden Sitzman, sophomore from here in McCook. And a little bit earlier I talked about paying it forward, and Caden is on a great path. He's this summer he's going to be coaching Legion team, and I think Caden has the mentality and the makeup to be an excellent coach someday, and just really appreciate his work ethic, and I look forward to watching him pay it forward. He's going to do a great job with those guys. Jacob Sanford. Jacob's a sophomore from Nova Scotia. Had a really good year for us. Again, another middle of the order hitter. Had a good freshman year, another good sophomore year. Jake has signed at Western Kentucky University to move on playing baseball next year. So we want to wish him the best of luck as well. And then, these last 3 guys, they've put in a lot of work, but they're, I don't want to say they're special, but they've probably got more of the dirty work than anybody else has this year, and they know it because I've told them this. But when I know I have somebody, it's bad of me, because when I know I have somebody that I can count on to get the job done, I kind of grind them to death. So when I need something done, these next 3 guys were always willing to step up and get it done, whether it be stats at a basketball game or whatever it is. The epitome of great guys, and guys that I knew I could always count on to get stuff done if we needed to. So the first one, Tanner Ziegel. Tanner's from Ontario as well. Stainer, Ontario. Size of McCook? About the size of McCook, not too far from Toronto. Tanner came here, starting left fielder last year on our team, and starting center fielder this year. So obviously he's had a really good time here. Next, Mark Starks. Mark's from Omaha, Nebraska, and Mark's always doing something for me. He's one of my work studies as well too. But Mark actually redshirted last year, and it we'll be back next year, and look forward to Mark to be around as well. And then last but not least, Hunter Reinders. Again, just another great kid that, like I said, all I had to do was ask, and Hunter would get done what we needed to get done. So I just wanted to give a special thank you to our sophomores, guys that have shown the willingness to stick to it and to really show what's important in life. So just stick with it, fellas, and keep moving on. We'll have a good last week here, and go from there. So thank you. Last, I forgot. I was told all the other coaches you're responsible for introducing the next coach, and leave it to me to forget. So I think he's on his way up here as well. But you heard it out of Coach Barnes' mouth. I know most of you probably know, but fresh off a region championship last week up in Riverton, Wyoming, Tyler Loop and golf.
Okay. Just like say how much I appreciate being up here, just like all the other coaches. Some thank yous to the coaches, the administration. At all these golf tournaments I'm around, the coaches of the other schools, and they're all kind of complaining about their AD and their facilities, and I just kind of keep my mouth shut because I don't want to rub it in their face. Because we really do have an amazing staff. AD is the best. President, vice president are very, very supportive, and our facilities are also top-notch. Also, I'd like to thank my wife and 3 kids, hopefully future Indians. And as the other coaches and families can tell you, it's rough on them when season's going, and we're on the road a lot, and they're home with the kids while you're gone. I'd like to thank Jim Lemon, our driver. He's there for every tournament. He's getting our guys their water, their snacks. He's kind of the unofficial coach as well. And I'd like to thank Heritage Hills and their staff for letting us go out there and play and hit our range and practice whenever we need to. They even employed some of these guys and gave them some spending money. So great facilities out there as well. Also like to say thank you for my assistant coach, Nick. Both of us are proud alumni and coaches, so that's something we're very, very proud of. Even Coach Nick, earlier today in our team meeting, we're talking about our victory this last weekend and how proud we are as alumni and coaches. So, this is my 5th year coaching, and I can't say enough about the experience I've had here. It's been wonderful. This isn't my full-time job, but I love it here. I love coaching for MCC, and hopefully I'll be here as long as they have me. We'll getting into some individual announcements. We'll start with our freshmen. Start with Cameron Lampy from Windsor, Colorado. He ended the year with a scoring average of 74.85, had 2 individual wins in the region tournaments, first team all-region, and finished in a tie for the top individual in the region. And the tiebreaker goes to whichever individual has the most placings in each tournament, and there was 12 tournaments for our region, and he placed in every single tournament. So he won the tiebreaker, so top individual in the region. Cam had yep. Another bit of news, you might have heard about Cam this season. In one of our tournaments in Sterling a few weeks ago, on the second hole, it's 315-yard par 4, he hit a hole-in-one. It's a very rare feat in golf. You can actually go find the article about it on our webpage. It's also on the NJCAA website with his picture and on their website or their Facebook as well. So, and also one more thing, Cam is currently, he's set 9th in our district and is also up for all district honors coming up. We'll find that out here in a few weeks. Congrats. Next, freshman Graham Gaspard from Breckenridge, Colorado. He entered the year with a scoring average right at 80. Graham battled for a spot in the top 5 much of the fall semester. And finally getting that chance at our home tournament, which turned out to be his best tournament of the year, finishing for the 6th best score in that tournament with the rounds of 80 and 77. Graham's been a fighter all season, and he solidified his spot this spring, and he was a great asset for us, and he helped the team out all the time. And if it wasn't for a couple bad holes, maybe one or two bad holes each tournament, he would have had a great spring. But he still battled out. He grinded out some good scores. And either way, we wouldn't have accomplished what we did without him. So congratulations, Graham. Brady Wonderly from Benkelman, Nebraska. Brady followed in his brother's footsteps by joining us at MCC, and ever since he's been here, he's been hardest worker as anybody we've had, working really hard on his game, making great progress, and as any golfer knows, it takes a ton of work. Brady's never had a chance to play in the top 5, but he was able to play in 6 tournaments as an individual this year with a scoring average of 93.9. His best finish came at his most recent tournament in Torrington, Wyoming, in frigid temperatures and high winds with scores of 92 and 89. Congrats, Brady. Sophomores, we're going to start off with Caleb Wonderly from Benkelman. Caleb's freshman year, he averaged somewhere in the low 80s to mid 80s, I believe. This fall, he averaged right at 80.43, and in the spring, he averaged 77.8. And even though I don't have an official award for most improved golfer, Caleb would have definitely been that person. He really stepped up incredibly this spring as a person we could rely on to shoot some really solid scores. And he started off the spring with the best round of his career with a 70, and then followed up with his best career tournament in Lamar with a 76 and a 74 to finish the tournament 5th place. And I also like to point out, Caleb finished his last 12 holes with 10 pars and 2 birdies to shoot a 76, which was pivotal in our win in Riverton. Congrats, Caleb. Colton Zukowski from Ord, Nebraska. Colton ended the year with a scoring average of 77.15 and a couple second-place finishes. Colton's game was outstanding in the last 3 tournaments, finishing 5th, 2nd, and 4th to make a strong run for all region honors, and just finishing a couple points out of that last spot. In his final round, he finished his last 13 holes in 2 under par with a 10-foot birdie putt at the end that Cam and I witnessed, and we even joked around that might have been the putt to win it for us. It's been amazing for Colton, watching Colton progress and mature, and Colton's going to be continuing his golfing career at Concordia University in Seward, Nebraska next year. They're lucky to have you, Colton. Congrats. And then our final sophomore, Brady Rogers, Ord, Nebraska. Brady ended the year with a 76.05 scoring average and was also a first-team all-region player. Brady's best finish was in Sterling this spring when he won the tournament. That was shortened to 1 day with a 4 under par 68. But his most important round was definitely his last round of the year. He shot 72 to lead the team at Riverton. Brady had just won 1 tournament, but was very consistent all year and had several top 8 finishes. And in the spring, and best golf came in the spring like most of these guys, with the exception of 1 blemish on his score in Lamar. He never had a round over 77 this spring. Brady was a guy that he could be 3 or 4 over par in the first few holes, but bring it around and score very well. That is very rare in golf. Most guys would give up, but he never would. I believe he was 6 over par in his first 3 holes in Riverton and finished 3 over par for the day and 3 over par for the tournament. Brady was recruited to play at UNK next year, but before finding out that they will no longer have a men's golf team, which is a shame because I would have enjoyed watching him play next year, but either way, congrats, Brady. Now, as for the team, and like everybody else kind of alluded to, this is a team sport. Individual honors are given, just like any other sport, and at most levels in golf, it is individual, but this is a team sport for us. You know, we started the season off with 8 players. We had good depth. We were competing for the top 5 spots all the time. We did lose a couple players to ineligibility, leaving us with these guys for the spring. I know for a fact that those 2 guys are very disappointed in themselves, but they've learned a lot, and they are doing what they can to make it on our team next year. We did have a goal at the beginning of the year to win our Region 9 and go to Nationals. And halfway through, after the fall season, things looked pretty okay. We weren't out of it, but we definitely had to make up some ground, and then it seemed like a tall task, but we never stopped believing in ourselves. And when it became just them, with no one else competing for their spots, they really stepped up and exceeded even their expectations. And with 1 tournament to go, they had put themselves in a position in which the winner between McCook and Eastern Wyoming would win the Region 9 championship. Starting off, it was a little rough. After the first 3 holes and visiting with these guys a bit, I heard phrases like, well, I took a 9 on hole 3. I hit 2 out of bounds on my first hole. I hit 1 out of bounds on my first hole. I hit 1 out of bounds on my second hole. That's true. But they did come back. And most of the time when a coach hears that, it can be extremely discouraging, disappointed. And I'm worried for them. But, they all had smiles on their face, and they told me, I got this. We finished that day with everybody shooting in the 70s, and a team score 307, 1 stroke behind Eastern. The second day was an early 8 a.m. start. I was a little worried that maybe some of these guys were still sleeping a bit. But, we definitely started off a lot better. You couldn't have gotten much worse. But putts weren't exactly falling. Nothing bad was happening, but nothing great either. And I made it a point to go around and catch each player after their first 9 holes and maybe put a little fire on them and tell them this is where the tournament starts. And as I alluded to earlier, in their last 4 holes as a team, we made 4 birdies, an eagle, and several par-saving putts, and finished with a team score 299 for the day, and Eastern came in with their 301, giving us a 1-stroke victory for the Region 9 championships. First since 1973, since that banner up there we'll be adding to that this year, and hopefully many more years to come. Good job, guys. I'll never forget this team, the way they fought and grinded all year for their team camaraderie. And, I'll get a look at the banner, I'll go look at this plaque, and it'll definitely remind me of these guys. And this is the first, like I said, this is the first plaque and banner that this program has seen in a very long time. Go ahead and hold that for me. Again, I'd like to say thank you to Coach Nothnagel for all your help all season. And the season will continue a little longer as we'll leave for Lubbock, Texas, May 12th for the NJCAA Division I National Championships. Earlier today, I kind of told these guys that, we don't really have any expectations there. We're just going there to have fun, and we'll see what happens, but that's not true. I changed my mind. We're going there to compete. The best we can, the hardest we can, and we're going to play as hard as we can no matter what, and we'll never give up. And then we'll see what happens. Thank you guys, and thank you for all your support. Yep. Thank you.
Just real quick before I get Andy Long up here to close, I do want to have, I know there's been a lot of thank yous going out tonight, but I guess if you're in my shoes and the other coaches' shoes, we know how important it is for all the help that we receive. First off, President of Mid-Plains Community College, Ryan Purdy, is here, and I'd like to thank him and the MPCC Board of Governors, like Coach Linhart alluded to. I mean, whether it's this building that we are in for our 6th year or some type of improvement every single year. Me and Coach Linhart came here the same year, so we're going into 12 next year. And like he said, there has not been a year where we haven't made something better on this campus or in athletics, and that does not happen across the board. I interact with all kinds of coaches and ADs, and it's cut, and these guys know what they're doing, and they put students first. And I just really want to extend a great thank you because it's really good here. College boosters, McCook Community College boosters, booster boards, adopt a student program. I know you've been thanked a lot tonight. Echo that. A couple other people that haven't been thanked that are integral to what we do. I don't think he's here, but Brian Obert, the Dean of Student Life, and the Student Life staff, Residence Hall staff. They do a great job of taking care of, we're a 150-bed dorm with 130 athletes, and so it's pretty obvious that we have a heavy presence over there and really respect them and the jobs that they do. It has been a transformation over the past few years of them being able to really take care of our student athletes over there. Something else that has happened here over the past few years, but the 2nd year now, is the live stream. We're live streaming now. We live stream all our home athletic events that you can watch, and Brady Hines heads that up, and he does an awesome job of it. And Chuck Selstrom out of EP out of North Platte, who spearheaded that and made that happen. Really want to thank Brady for spearheading that. That's a big thing for us that we can get everything live streamed. Another guy that has been a huge addition to McCook Community College athletics this year, sitting at the front table with us, Brent Cobb, new sports information director. If you have spent much time here in the past, however many years since we've had a part-time SID, Brent has just embraced it. And if you go on our website, 15, 20 minutes after the game's over, story's up, it's out to everybody. And Brent, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you do. You do an awesome job, awesome sports information director. And back again to Ryan to making that possible for us to have that position here. It's crucial. And I don't think he's here as well, but Ethan Scott, our trainer at Community Hospital. So if you are involved with Community Hospital at all, and Ethan Scott, he does a great job for our student athletes. Really appreciate Ethan. Coach Linhart alluded to it as assistant athletic director, and I'll tell you what, he's been a godsend when it comes to the spring. I just don't know how I could get through the spring without him taking care of all baseball and softball events at home and making sure they're always covered. So, Coach Linhart, I appreciate you. You guys have heard other thank yous, bus drivers, all the guys, Coach Linhart drives, Coach Pritchard drives, Tim Mackey, Gary White, Rod Mooring, Doug Terry, Rod Peters, Jim Lemon, all those guys. Sean Knoll, voice of the Indians, Tress Mockery, consolidated management staff, not just for the meal tonight, but for sack lunches on the road, keeping the CAF open, maybe some extra hours to accommodate practices, feed the athletes right after they get done with practice and they're tired. Darren Morgan, physical plant staff, athletics put a lot of stress on facilities. They do a great job of helping us with travel, transportation buses, this facility as well. Jennifer Morgan, events manager, she put together this event tonight, obviously takes care of all of our weight room and gym times and practices, and always has a positive attitude and a smiling face to come to when we go into the office. And then finally, last but not least, is our campus vice president, Andy Long. Andy, I appreciate everything you do. Meet with Andy every couple weeks and just talk about huge pile of energy, and a guy that stresses leadership and puts students first. Everything I can't say thank you enough, Andy. Appreciate all your support for athletics and all the coaches. And you're a great person for McCook Community College, and just really appreciate you. So with that said, I will turn it over to Andy, and Andy will finish us here.
I'll try to make this fairly quick since my 6-year-old son is waiting for me to play Pokemon with him. He made a big trade last week with Coach Loop's son, so he's got his deck all set up, ready to go there. But I want to thank our coaches, first of all. Our mission here at the college is to transform lives. And I don't know anyone on the campus that does that mission work more than our head coaches and their assistant coaches. Day in, day out, they're helping our athletes become better in the classroom, become better on the court or on the field, and help them through a lot of other challenges they face in their first 2-year colleges. We put a lot of pressure on our coaches, not just for their performance in athletics, but also in the other responsibilities they have on campus there. And I'm so thankful for the time they put in, the work they do. Coaches, thank you. A few other quick thank yous. It is great to have so many adopt-a-athlete parents here tonight. Thank you. That is one of the best programs a community college has in the entire nation. I got to experience it firsthand in early September when my daughter and a couple of her 9-year-old friends were putting on a talent show. And the adopt-a-athlete students, Devon and Isaiah, happened to be there and experience that great 9-year-old girls' talent show. So, I mean, you can't beat entertainment like that in McCook, can you? So that is a fantastic program. Adopt-athlete parents, you make a huge difference in the transformation I see in our student-athletes here. Thank you for your effort. Please keep that going, along with our booster clubs. They give us a little over $20,000 a year to help support athletic programs, and that is huge. There's a lot of expenses that goes in running athletic programs, and that makes a big difference. You can see all the different businesses and people that support the boosters through the banners. And if you don't have one up there, $350, come talk to me afterwards. We can get you signed up, and we'll get you up here for volleyball season here in the fall there. So thank you to our boosters for all the work they do right there. Brent Cobb, Brady Hines, getting the word out, doing the live stream, doing the sports information. Fantastic work on both those areas this year. Also, Jennifer Morgan, she's mentioned it a couple times. This is the third event we've done here in terms of recognition. All of them have gone off without a hitch. A lot of that's her work. The athletes, I'm curious, how many of you were a part of all 3 events today? How about how many of you are part of 2 of the events? How many of you wore at least 2 different outfits to those events today? I'll probably wear 75% of this outfit again tomorrow. I think that's the difference between being 19 and 41. But I also want to thank our athletes, not just your performance on the court or on the field where you play, but the community service you provide this community, the ambassadorship of this college you give as you travel throughout this region, just the work you do as leaders on this campus. You end up being our organization leaders, most of our PTK honor members, and most years, an athlete like this year will be our commencement speaker. So thank you for what you give back to this college, this community while you're here. Also, want to thank John Olson. The time and effort this guy puts in to make sure all these programs succeed is enormous. The stability this athletic program has, the performance of our athletes on campus and on the court, and the stability we have in our coaching staff, all that comes from the work he puts in. And generally, I'm emailing him after he got back from being on the road for 6 days and working with a few things in terms of eligibility or stuff for other teams. I'm going, hey, can you get your P card? Can you get your P card finished up so I can get that submitted there? This guy puts a ton of effort, loves this place, bleeds MCC blue, and just a lot of the great things that happen. When you have 130 athletes, there's a little bit of disagreement and conflict throughout the year. And this guy does an amazing job of handling that. John, thank you for everything you provide for this college. Real fast, I want to mention 3 people. First one is Don Jackson. 3 years ago, we recognized him as the Alumni of the Year. After graduating college, he became a physical therapist, eventually owned multiple physical therapy offices throughout the country. After doing that for 20 years, he sold that, a multi-million-dollar deal, and then became the chief operating officer of the March of Dimes. He took that from a multi-million-dollar charity to a multi-billion-dollar charity over 20 years. In retirement, he became president of Hastings College for 5 years, a job he just retired from this spring. This last fall, we recognized Andy Heck as our Alumni of the Year. He received 2 Purple Hearts for being wounded in the Vietnam War. After that, went on to have a successful corporate business, including being the CEO of Sylvania Corporation, which at the time was a Fortune 500 company. Next Friday at commencement, we will recognize Lloyd Benjamin, who was a civil engineer, started out working for the Department of Roads, eventually started 2 successful businesses around engineering, and eventually athletic facility and bleacher construction there. Eventually sold both of those and co-chaired the $10 million fundraising campaign that built this building on campus. The one thing all 3 of these people had in common were they were McCook Community College athletes. The persistence, the grit, the resilience they learned here is what propelled them to success after they left here. The bad news for most of you athletes, after you leave college, I'm guessing 99% of you won't earn another dollar from playing professional athletics. Those of you golfers, you'll clean up on 3-man scrambles around this area if you want to keep playing. But the rest of you, there's not a lot of money for a lot of athletes, professional athletes. But the work you do, the career you have, the skills you develop through the persistence, the grit, and the hard work you learned here, this is going to make you successful doctors, successful teachers, successful coaches, successful entrepreneurs, successful nurses, and you will go on to lead a successful, rich, fulfilling life. And I hope when you do that, you remember that you'll always be a part of your tribe. And we want to see the best for you, and we hope to celebrate your success in the future. Roll Tribe.